what I'll get you guys to begin with is just your names and how you came to live in the city of Stirling.
Vince and Pauline Ellyard.
Well, it was his idea. I didn't want to leave my mother in Wembley, but he said
I took her out to the end of the bush.
He took me out to the end of the world, which was awful.
When in 1964, in January, we moved into Fermanagh Street, Karrinyup, on the corner of Burrows Road, but there was no Burrows Road, there was no Karrinyup Road. It didn't come up past Francis
There was
Avenue.
a BP garage on the corner of Francis.
Oh, that was later.
It wasn't there.
No, it was just bush and scrub, and we had to go down Francis, down Fermanagh, and as I said, Karrinyup Road didn't go any further than that, and that was only a single one lane each way on a single road before it became a dual highway and down through. And in '64, when we moved in, there was just a limestone track, no telephone, no street lights yet, and it was all bush. All on the west side of Burrows Road was just bush.
And the bush was absolutely thick. You'd have to see it to see how heavy and wooded it was. And the trees towered over the road. And of course, when the bushfire came through...
In '64, there was a bushfire. I was
all had
working
to
up
get
in
out.
Wundowie, and I could see the water tower from up on top of the hills up there. And that's close to home, you know, and by the time I got there, Pauline had long gone with the kids and they abandoned the house.
So I got the
but
kids
nothing got damaged.
and my sewing machine. Very important.
Had a little old A40 and she threw them in there and off.
So you leave your clothes behind, take the sewing machine and you'll be set for life.
The sewing machine's fine. But and then for weeks and weeks after, you hear the trees that were half burning crashing. And
still falling down,
and all the vermin that was coming out, you know.
Into our place.
I thought, what have you done to me?
Because you really felt like you're in the sticks. You were in the sticks.
I was
We were
nowhere.
then. It was the end of...
It was the end of the road, the end of my life for
Literally.
a while. Anyway, I'm still here, so I survived.
After that fire, the animals were coming in, but also, did it smell and was the smoke in the air for a long time and things black?
Lots of smoke. And
every night you lay in bed and you hear crash.
Another tree came down.
Because it was so heavy and so dense.
Who were your neighbours back then, do you remember?
There was a Mrs. Gilligan next door on one side.
Mrs. Gilligan, she ran the kids. It was open picket fence.
She was in Burrows Road, as I say, only ran down about 6 houses and then it was bush.
The state housing were too miserable to put 2 pickets, so we had spaces. It was a little cheaper, of course. And she could see the kids playing, and she used to tell me what they'd been up to, and she was a funny old thing, but she was lovely.
What kind of things did the kids get up to? Was it a great kind of place for them to grow up and explore?
Well, they were a little bit little, weren't they? They were only toddlers. Sue was 3 or 2, and I had 3 kids in 2 years.
Well,
so
we had 2 children when we moved into the house, and there was a third one born in the house.
So we're there for 4 years.
In '64, and in a few months prior to that I died. I was electrocuted. Up in Armidale as a plumber then, I was working on a roof and I got electric drill and I got thrown head and shoulders over the side of the roof. Apparently my body's bouncing around, but I was calmly floating about a metre above in the air, you know, just lying there still, but my body was bouncing with the electric shock. And the first words I heard was, "Here comes the doctor now." So I was out of action for a while. I stopped breathing, stopped circulation, and a drunkard brickie that worked for the firm couldn't ever hold cement on his trowel till about 11 a.m, and here we are at 8 a.m, him giving me mouth to mouth. Which put me into hospital feeling bloody sick. And I don't know if it was the electricity or him.
Yeah.
My darling boss ordered all the electric leads of his cut, chopped up, burnt and buried while I was in the hospital that day.
And docked him his pay.
And then,
What do you remember about that, Pauline? Was it terrifying?
Well, I didn't know.
She didn't know, and I was driven home at the end of the work day.
He insisted that he come home because he
Get out of
knew
hospital.
I'd be so upset.
Yeah.
So they brought him home. I didn't know what was happening, but when he came home, he was very sick through the night. In those days, there was no help. And every time he touched the fridge or the washing machine, he'd get a shock. make him feel sick
was a
again.
bit of a bright spark.
Yes. So anyway, we got over that one.
Where was your closest hospital?
Princess Margaret
Yeah.
or St John's. Yes.
What did it feel, because you felt like you're out in the sticks, you're out in the bush, was heading into Perth a big adventure? Did Perth feel like a big city?
No. I used to work in the city
How would you get in?
on the bus
That was
before I
before we
was
were married.
because you got sacked after you got married back then. Yes, that was it. Off, you get pregnant. They were right. I did. Yeah.
But my only thought when I was floating above my body was poor Pauline, because I knew she was pregnant with number 3, and I was thinking, damn, all I can do about it. I can't shout out. I couldn't do anything. Apparently when I hit the roof and I'm hanging over the bricklayer underneath me, two or three stories down, I gave one roar when I hit the roof. And that's why he was apparently running around yelling out for the power to be cut so he could get on the roof.
Gee.
Anyway.
What do you remember about your wedding day? Did you get married locally?
That's a
Got
good story.
married in Glendalough Church. I think it's still there.
Yeah,
isn't
Glendalough,
it?
it's still there.
Glendalough. Actually, it was a very interesting day. It was the day that the Swan Districts in East Perth, the football, it was their first try at winning. That was Swan Districts.
If I might say, I'm a Swan District supporter since I was yay high. I lived near the ground, and they came last every year. And this in '61 they came from last to the grand final, but they got beat 3 times through the year by East Perth. They got beaten in the finals and came through the hard way, where East Perth had a
Anyway,
week
my
off.
father was
He was staunch East Perth.
Perth.
And they missed the church 3 times.
And we had to not go into the church till we found out,
Yeah,
because
the taxi missed the church.
there was no radio or no way to know. So when I got up to the altar rails, I said to him, "Swans won!" And the priest stopped.
And he said, "You beauty!" And he stopped everything and announced it to everybody, and they got a bigger cheer than we did.
Must have been the best day of your life, Vince.
I missed the last quarter. Had to
But
get to
still,
the church on
you
time.
won. You won in footy, and you won your woman as well.
Oh yeah. I'd known her since I was 11. We were at school together back then. And her mum used to feed me bread and jam after school, and then I'd go home for bread and jam after school, as you do. Yeah, back in the good old days.
60 years of marriage and living in the city of Stirling, you must have seen a lot of changes over the years. What are the things that have really stuck out for you?
From our own point of view, seeing the original Karrinyup shops long before what's there now. The original I was on the residents committee. We voted for something because we had to go to Inaloo to shop or to bank or do anything, and we got a temporary asbestos timber-framed temporary shops for 2 years, which lasted 8 years before the new shops came. And I worked on the drawings for the shops, for that shopping centre, the original shopping centre.
Yeah.
And we only stayed in our first house for 4 years. It cost £3,000, house and land, State Housing Commission. We sold it for exactly double that when we moved out 4 years later and moved into one of the lucky 100 that the R&I Bank, which is now Bank West, they built 100 houses in Karrinyup, house and land, on land they acquired. They built 100 houses and we were number 5 on the lucky 100 list, and we got in with about $100 to spare, raising the deposit to get in there, and we're broke as church mice. But I found that after we moved and had our interest rates from State Housing Commission never changed, well, in 4 years, shortly after we moved in, interest rates went up. How can they do this? That's not legal, is it, to increase your interest rates? I was pretty naive, and it went up. We reached 8%, and I'm still complaining. And then I found the lucky 100 couldn't go above 8%, and interest rates then went up to 17 and 18%, and for mortgages. And we stopped at 8%, so we were part of the lucky 100. We had 17 years there, and then we finally got the block of land looking at for 10 years up near the water tower in Karrinyup. And I designed and we built our own house on our own land up there. We've been there now 37 years.
No, we both, I was sewing, which I had a business, and you had just quantities, and we knocked off for 12 weeks. We built the house in 12 weeks.
14 weeks to the date we moved in.
And it's a huge house.
26 squares,
every
or
time,
260 square metres.
Every time that one person had finished, you'd tell them, the other ones would come and say, "You're not ready yet." And they'd say, "Start up the front. By the time you get to the back, it'll be ready." No, he was very good.
Now, having measured it, and I ordered all my own materials and arranged my own trades, and to get it done in that short a time, I had to have them start at one end of the house and work their way through, and those ahead of them have gone before they get there, and so on. You know.
Good project managing.
Yeah, and two of us put the roof on. I didn't know what I was doing, but he did. And I had to order all the right sticks of timber to make the roof work, and I did. Got all that.
And the
work.
reason we had to do it quickly, because we only rented a house for 3 months.
Yeah, well,
That's
13
all
weeks
we
we
could
had.
find with 5 kids.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it wasn't easy to rent a house. So we only had 12 weeks.
No,
and
we had to,
just
excuse me, it was
finish.
13 weeks we had there, and they came back from their caravan trip around Australia, and I had to put them into a local caravan park in Quellup for a week because we couldn't move into our house till the city of Stirling gave me approval to move in.
Yeah. Are you an architect or a draftsman?
I was a quantity surveyor.
Yep. So
I was a plumber. I ruined my back and 1 or 2 other accidents, and I had to get out of the trade.
Yeah.
And I fell on my feet as a consultant to a quantity surveying office. Took my plumbing expertise in there because they didn't know a lot of the terminology or the bylaws, which I did. I was a licensed plumber, and I went into their office and learnt quantities. 10.5 years in West Perth, and I had that much private work. I came home and worked for the next 24 years at home.
You've been very engaged with the buildings in the city of Stirling. Can you tell us about where we're sitting now?
This building here was, but the lady that owned the property that this particular part of the complex is on, deeded it to the city of Stirling under the condition that it was always kept for the older folk to enjoy.
Yeah. And this is where the Scarborough Seniors Club meets?
Yes, we meet here. We're members of that.
Can you tell me a little bit about the club?
Very well run.
Well,
Very good for both of
we
us.
play cards on a Monday morning. We play canasta, but it's called
Gelno.
Gelno or something.
Canasta is 2 packs, Gelno is 3 packs.
Yeah.
That's all. It's
So
an advanced version of canasta.
We play from 10 till 12, and then we go at lunch, but the others stay till 3. And on a, what else do we do?
Every second Friday we have
lunch.
all our senior citizens have Meals on Wheels arranged through the city of Stirling.
That is so nice because we get this lovely meal and sweets. You don't have to come in here. You come in here starving because there's so much to eat. And then we either have a movie or a concert every second week. And then we have this amazing afternoon tea, which you don't need after lovely sweets and 2-course dinner. And then we have a raffle, and the people who organise put all these presents like
All the staff.
gifts, like tea and all basic stuff.
All the committee.
And we buy our tickets, and we all end up going home with a few things. So it's a lovely day.
Does that happen every week?
Every second week.
Yeah.
So
And have you met wonderful people in the Seniors Club? Have you developed really great
Some
of them down
relationships?
here.
they're all lovely. They're all lovely people. Most people at our age are really nice.
You all get along. You've all lived through life,
We've all-
and all the troubles are behind you.
Yes, so I find that, yes.
Yeah. And how important is it for a shire or, the city of Stirling to create facilities that you can use?
So important because as you get older you don't go to places, you're really home, and you need something local that you can get to. We also go to the North Beach
a citizens club at North Beach, and we played bingo there of a Saturday.
We play bingo on
Didn't
a
take
Saturday.
long for them to talk me into calling it.
Yes, so we do that. But yeah, so if there's any, and we came here to to play bowls, didn't we?
I've played indoor bowls.
Indoor bowls.
I
but,
still play lawn bowls when my back lets me.
I got a bit bored with that, so I'd rather cards. But something else would be nice. More things to pick from would be lovely.
Yeah.
If the city can come up with other ideas for the older folk, more entertainment or things to be part of.
Yeah. You've lived in the area for a long time, seen so many changes.
Since 1950, 58 years, I think, since 64.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You've never left. So what's kept you here? My final question is, what's so great about the city of Stirling?
Well, I always wanted to be near the shops. That was the big thing. I've waited for those shops for years.
There was nothing.
Years and years, and then they came, and we just walked through the walkway. We lived so close,
Yeah.
so it was so nice. So I want to stay with the shops. Yeah,
Well,
that's
they brought everything to us, so why leave?
yes, yes.
Yeah. It sounds like you had the best of both worlds in terms of living in the bush for a little while and then
Yes,
slowly
yes.
the shops, your dream came true and they came to you. Yeah. Before I let you go, did you ever use the beach much?
We used to use Meddams.
Meddams a
didn't
lot
we?
for the children. Yeah,
For
excellent.
the kids, but as the years passed, it got less and less. It eroded, and I've got my own swimming pool. I've got a beautiful pool under a lattice gazebo. I've got a beautiful home.
Yeah, there's a story to that. I built this gazebo that fills the whole backyard. It's an 8-sided octagonal, as you know. But I laid all the bricks and all the paving bricks and built a waterfall and so on.
It's absolutely
And then
magnificent.
when my wife said if she needed a pool, we'll put it out in the front. I said, I'm putting it out there and fencing all this on. So I devised a way to dig a pool out 2 metres below my foundations. How I could do that, and it's possible. We did, and I designed them,
So I've got
and we
this
won an
lovely-
award for our pool.
And it's heated and it's gas heated.
It's solar.
Why would you
heated and
leave?
gas
Why would you
boosted
leave?
if needed?
Yeah. And do the kids come back quite a bit?
We've got 2 have gone over east, which is a shame. They don't come back that often. But we've got 2 girls and a son. But the girls and the grandkids love it. you
The
know.
great grandkids.
And we're great grandparents.
Got 3 of those.
And they're 10, 9 and 7. So we're grandparents great grandparents for quite a while.
And they love our pool.
They love the pool, of course.
I bet they love you guys. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Cheers.